Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Jeff Zaba, and I've got responsibility here for Microsoft at ConnectWise. And I want to thank you all for joining us today. I know we teased a little bit about a major announcement coming up. And so I've got our friends here from Arrow, Brendan Murphy and Scott Nelson with me. Brendan's the global director for the hyperscaler practice at Arrow. And Scott leads the integration and the go-to-market between ConnectWise and Arrow. So I think we can get right to it. A little bit of maybe some thunder was, I wouldn't say stolen, but you know, things happen, and so it sounds like maybe folks that are tuning in with us today have a sense of what exactly it is we're going to talk about. So. But Brendan, for those who are maybe just waking up or have had a busy Tuesday, do you mind giving us a little catch up on what's been announced today?
Yeah, of course. And yeah, we were anticipating this would be launched out into the channel today, but for various reasons, Microsoft had to pull it forward a day. But luckily, it's very exciting news, which is that Microsoft 365 Copilot is now available in CSP. So up until today, it was only available to enterprise customers within EA, and you had to sign up for a waiting list. But as of today, those restrictions have been removed, and you and your customers can start purchasing directly. As part of this launch, Microsoft have also removed the seat limit. So in the past, you needed a minimum of 300 seats, but now you can start from as little as 1 seat. And they've also expanded the licenses on which you can attach this, because Copilot is an add-on. But you can now attach it to Business Standard, Business Premium, ME3, ME5. And then what was also announced is that it will attach onto Office 365 E3 and Office 365 E5. So it's a great opportunity for our partners, and it's expanded. One of the other things that they have announced as part of this is that it will be an annual license and that it will be an annual upfront billing. So it's something for a consideration for our partners and their customers. But again, this makes Copilot available for you today, and that you can start using it with your customer base.
Thanks, Brendan. That's really helpful. There's certainly over the past, I'd say 12, 14 months, a lot of different AI tools, a lot of things, you know, being proclaiming to be the best co-pilot of sorts to folks within the tech ecosystem. But what are some of the key features of the Microsoft 365 Copilot that really make this a great opportunity?
Yeah, it's a great question. And in many ways, this is a Copilot so many people have been waiting for, because it is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, and therefore it is integrated into the Microsoft 365 suite. So this means that it's deeply integrated into Office. So the applications that your customers use, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook. It features the enterprise-grade security that you expect from Microsoft 365, especially on those business premium SKUs. And it has all of its grounding and context coming from the Microsoft Graph, which means that it's indexing the data within those tenants and within your environment to really provide you deep and rich contextual information. There's also, as part of this new launch, the Copilot Studio. So this enables organizations to extend the utilization into their own data sets and really to enhance it with their own intellectual property. Now, I use this solution today. I've been using it for a number of weeks now. And I can say personally, I've seen a very substantial impact on the way in which I work. Now, there are good things for it. There are negatives. It doesn't always work in the way that you expect. But in particular, from my context, the ability to summarize meetings and have the actions automatically created for me, to look at the sentiment of the meetings, has been really impactful. Also, to be able to create content. And actually, one of the links that you'll see is for an Arrow Channel Advisor post. We actually created that using Microsoft 365 Copilot. And it took very little time to create that content, because we were able to feed it with our PowerPoint presentations and other information. and have it create a very compelling first draft for us. I also use it to create presentation decks. It's an area it's not quite as good as some of the other areas, but again, it can help you get a really good start. And there's so many other areas summarizing emails and that integration, and so many more areas that really, I think, for partners can be very impactful, and for your customers to help them save time, be more productive, and ultimately to help create a good starting point for that creativity. We see that this will be a really big benefit.
Yeah, Brendan, I totally agree. I've had it myself for a little bit. And if you're like me, you dread summarizing meetings, going in and out of meetings. And I found that's been such a lifesaver. And also returning from vacation today, it was useful in getting me caught up. So totally agree with you. So, no Microsoft product or program stands alone, right? So there's going to be ways for partners to capitalize on the opportunity. Have you had a chance to dig in and really understand how they can capitalize on this?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate as one of the top global Microsoft partners that we had early insight into what was coming up in the launch. So we've been preparing for this for a little while now. And I think the first thing for partners is obviously you can earn on the sales of Copilot. So the first thing to be aware is that the margin is different from the rest of the Microsoft 365 stack. So it's something that you need to be aware of. Again, we're on a public channel, so I can't announce the levels for that, but it is a different level. But it is included in the core modern workplace and security incentives. And it is also part of the strategic product accelerators. So a very good earning opportunity for our partners by activating those levers. But beyond that, before moving to Copilot, it's really essential that your customers have an environment that is set up correctly and will able to capitalize on the technology available. So first of all, this includes ensuring that as much data as possible is in the tenant. So look at migration from legacy file systems. These are additional services that you can offer. Make sure they're using Exchange, they're utilizing Teams and all of those platforms available. And then also on that is to make sure that the environment is as secure as possible. You want to make sure that the users within the infrastructure can only see the data that they should be able to access, because Copilot will be able to bring forward any information that a user can read, but also making sure that the perimeter is secure. And in that way, making sure that all of the devices and identities are secure. Now, this is a fantastic opportunity for our partners to upsell to Business Premium and also to then prepare and attach to security services. Now, we know that security services can be quite complex. So again, if you want to build your own, then we can support you through that. But also, if you don't have the capabilities, then there's a great ConnectWise security service that is an option for you as well. And then looking more specifically at Copilot itself, there are so many areas in which you can add value for your customers. Going through from advisory to readiness to deployment services to make sure they're configuring this in the way that is best for their organizations, along with probably deeper change management. And this is an area that organizations are really going to need support, because Copilot is fundamentally a different way of working, a different way of thinking. And so organizations will need to build that into their way of working, and really to drive that adoption is where partners can provide great value. We mentioned earlier as well, there is the Copilot Studio. So this will allow you to create new additional skills and plugins for Copilot that you can then start to bring your own intellectual property using your data and your skills that again can drive greater benefit to the customers. So there's a wide range of different areas that can enable you to work on this. And again, we can support you on going on a journey to build your practice, your capabilities, to really make the most of the opportunity that has been unlocked today.
That's great. And certainly a lot of our partners have been looking to expand their services into things like AI to help their customers, but also embrace AI in their own business. So I've got a list of a couple questions here, if you don't mind. Firstly, around subscriptions. So can CSP partners and customers co-terminate and align their Copilot for Microsoft 365 add-on subscription to the same end date as their prerequisite subscription?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one that has come up many times to me today. So Copilot acts like any other add-on subscription. So like all add-ons, the customer can align the end date to the subscription that they're attaching it to. Those subscriptions will need to be the annual commitment. So again, they can't attach this onto a monthly license and co-terminate. But if you have an annual subscription in play today on any of the business, the Office 365 or the ME5 SKUs, then you'll be able to co-terminate this and then have the same renewal date across both.
All right, and I'll just jump right into the next one here. How will a CSP partner be billed for this prepaid annual commit? I think you mentioned it was prepaid up front a little bit earlier. If the original term is reduced via coterminous setting with an eligible prerequisite.
Yeah, so it will follow the same rules again, whereby the amount will be prorated based on the end date of the subscription it's co-terminating to. So the customer will only pay for the period from when they purchase the license up until that renewal point. And then it will go into a full annual term, as with the other subscription that they're co-terminating to. I think this is quite an interesting one because it does bring an opportunity, especially with a lot of renewals happening in February and March, to co-terminate Copilot and then start to utilize that on a shorter period to really try it out and see how this will work with a few users.
Excellent. And so just to be clear, I'll ask you same question a different way. Can a CSP partner align or co-terminate Copilot for Microsoft 365 with a monthly subscription?
So it's a good question. And to confirm, they won't be able to co-terminate with a monthly subscription. So a monthly subscription is an eligible base subscription for the add-on to be attached onto, but co-terminosity won't work. So in this scenario, you would have a monthly base license, so let's say Business Premium, and then you would have an annual Copilot add-on that you will have paid annually upfront that you can then assign to those same users.
Great. Thanks so much for that clarity and for discussing this awesome opportunity for our partners to deliver additional value to their customers, expand their services, and step into this AI world full steam ahead. So what next steps would you recommend? I know you said you've been on the phone all day. So how are you advising partners as we speak?
Yeah, so we wanted today to make sure that all of your ConnectWise partners were aware of the announcement, what was coming out today, and really to make sure that we could give as good a head start as possible to start capitalizing on this opportunity. And I think especially, again, as we go into that renewals period, it is a really great time to discuss with your customers their base licensing, upsell, and the attach of Copilot to really show them your value and the additional capabilities that this can bring to them. And so to support following on from this, on the 24th of January, we'll be doing a full webinar where we'll go deeper into the partner opportunity, ideas on how you can build out a practice. So I'd really recommend signing up for that. And I believe the details are showing up on the screen at the moment and also going into the chat window. And also for our Arrow partners, there is a new area on the ArrowSphere Knowledge Center. This is our base where you can access a whole load of content. And in there are customer-ready decks that you can download, specifically around positioning the value, and then also how do you help your customers have a fast start? So stuff around prompt engineering, looking at different role-based use cases. So again, for our Arrow partners, that's a really great resource. And if you're not an Arrow partner today, then reach out to the team and you can book a meeting with Ashley so we can then start to give you access to some of those resources and really help you accelerate and get ahead of this. Oh, we can't hear you at the moment, Scott. I think Copilot might have disabled you.
Let's try that. Let's try that again, my Microsoft brothers. So let's make sure that I've got this right. This is a very exciting day in the Microsoft CSP world. So just to summarize, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is today generally available for all cloud solution providers in newcomers. Check. The demand for Copilot presents an enormous opportunity for our partners to help their customers, no matter the size, to become an AI-powered organization. Check. Microsoft, big news, removing the minimum seat purchase requirement for Copilot That used to be 300. Now there's no requirement. Check. Now, as customers move into Copilot, and Jeff and Brendan, keep me honest, they're not required, but recommended to have Business Premium in place. Now, from an Arrow perspective and ConnectWise perspective, securing your customer's perimeter is key to us. And Arrow and ConnectWise want to make sure that you know why and how to position this with your customers, because AI is here to stay. So we want to ensure that your customers are protected. ConnectWise has some rock solid options from a security space. Security and protection is imperative to them. And when you think about it, think about ConnectWise and some of the things that we can do collectively between Arrow and ConnectWise for terms of protecting the customers as well as speed to resolution. ConnectWise SOC is an option. ConnectWise has some great MDR solutions. And then finally, ArrowSphere is updated. It's up and running. And by this, I mean we've got a new site built within the ArrowSphere Knowledge Base Center so partners can download current customer presentations. There are decks that are ready for you, already built for your end users on how to position Copilot. We've got the pricing updated in the system. We're already selling Copilot in EMEA and already started to sell it this morning here in North America. So if I have to summarize it, 3 calls to action on, I think that Jessica is putting in our global channel advisor update into the chat. You can sign up for the webinar with Brendan and his team on January 24th. And you can request a meeting with Arrow, specifically with Ashley Watson, and she will bring on our Microsoft experts to help make sure that you're positioned for this Copilot announcement. Jeff, how'd I do? Brendan, did I leave anything out?
No, spot on.
Stuck the landing, Scott, per usual.
I
So
love it.
thanks so much for summarizing all of that. I know, again, a lot of opportunity there. Certainly, removing that 300-seat barrier is one thing that's really going to help the SMBs adopt this technology. So you guys delivered again in a phenomenally fast and thorough manner on bringing this to market. I'm really impressed to see everything that you've done. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for the plug for the ConnectWise Security Operations Center abilities and our ConnectWise MDR service. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. We'll have more on January 24th. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out to the Arrow team if you have more questions.
Jeff, thanks for having us today. More to follow for sure. We appreciate everything that ConnectWise is doing.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.